Hello, everyone, and welcome to Nerding Out on Neurodiversity, the podcast for all things neurodivergence. I'm Dr. Matt Zakreski, clinical psychologist and professional speaker, and I'm happy to be your host through the wild trails of the neurodivergent world.
And I'm Jake Noonan, educational coach and humanities teacher, your co-host and producer, and I'm thrilled to help share the stories and the experiences of wonderful people in the world of neurodiversity.
We're really excited for today's guest, which we are going to say a lot because we're always really excited about every guest we get. So let's get into it.
Geekscape, we're back with even more of the holiday live stream content. I am very excited. I was so thrilled to be able to add this show to the network earlier this year. And now they're here on the live stream, making their live stream debut. And they've got me as a guest for reasons that I'll never understand. The Nerding Out on Neurodiversity. And we've got Jake and Dr. Matt.
Woo!
Woo!
Live stream!
Woo!
Hey, everybody.
And a quick shout out to Alyssa Lube, who was just on the stream for YAOK, who made a donation, getting us up to $235 towards our $2,000 goal. Jake, Matt, welcome to your first ever Geekscape live stream.
Thank you for the invite. We're super excited to be here.
I'm excited to be on the hot seat. I don't know what the plan is. This is very thrilling.
You have no idea. You're in so much trouble.
Oh boy, I knew it. Is this a peer-to-peer review?
100%.
With a little bit of celebrity rehab from Dr. Drew, right?
Yeah.
Where you're like, tell us, Matt, who hurt you? And then it's going to be tears and snot. It's going to be great.
It's like the Geekscape edition of Surreal Life.
I love a pop culture deep cut.
Your favorite things.
Of course, what I think are deep cuts, what I think are regular cuts are deep cuts to Jake. I'm like, oh, reference. Jake's like, I'm 7 years old. I do not understand those references.
8, at least 8.
When I was in 8th grade, we were given an assignment to write a musical, but it was supposed to be like a jukebox musical. Like it was like just write out the script and then play this song here. But I had to outdo everybody by writing and recording my own music for a werewolf musical based on the Canadian show Big Wolf on Campus, which is a really obscure show that I don't even think people were watching when it was on the air. So, strap in to hear an awkward 8th grader singing over some actually pretty decent music that an older friend of mine recorded the music and then I did the vocals over top of it, but did every character. I voiced every character throughout this 9-song musical. So I found the CD and played it for my co-hosts.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it is. That's a word for it.
I feel like Mila Kunis's character in Forgetting Sarah Marshall, like vampire musical.
Yeah,
vampire musical. Like.
That's basically the vibe. That's the vibe and the energy for sure, except his vampire musical is dramatically better than my werewolf musical.
Did you do voices? I feel like that's a really important thing.
Oh boy, did I. You can definitely tell which character is singing what song. Like the punky best friend sings like a bad Sex Pistols Ramones character, while the main character has like a little bit more of a gruff Scott Stapp kind of voice. I was smart enough to not write any female songs because that would have been real rough. But yeah, it was a weird bad thing that I did, and I've been this is like there's 2 pieces of Matt Kelly media that I've been sitting on for my whole life, being like, this is way too embarrassing even for me to put out there. And but for the big brothers, big sisters, I'm willing to put it out there. So. We have a Big Wolf on Campus fan watching. Thank you, Mike.
Oh, geez. Yeah. So last year I worked with one of my clients on he's hyper fixated on the musical Hamilton, and they had to read How to Train Your Dragon for school. So he wrote a mashup musical called How to Train Your Hamilton. And I will tell you this, it is better than it has any right to be. I don't know if it's good, but it is better than it has any right to be.
So before Hamilton, And I joked about this when Hamilton started to blow up. I remember I re-released this song and said that I'd be suing Lin-Manuel Miranda. But in 2005, for extra credit, I wrote a rap song about the Constitution being drafted for my social studies class. And again, loved voices, voiced various founding fathers throughout this rap. I'm trying to remember. It was like, hear ye, hear me. We need to edit this independence thing because in 1776 we got our freedom from the king, and so a constitution we promised we would bring. But first, it needs some serious editing. It was, in retrospect, there was a couple lines in there that I'm like, that was really good. There was the one part where it was like they're arguing about how are they going to count people. The lyric was like, all men are created equal. That's what Tom wrote, but that slave is 3/5. And it was really strange shit that I was writing in 10th grade, but I aced social studies that semester. So
not surprised at all.
And it's funny because this actually, it's a really lovely and organic transition to what Jake and I do on our pod, because it's like one of the biggest markers of being a neurodivergent person is doing something remarkable and not knowing it's remarkable because your brain makes it easy. And then you tell that story to other people and they stare at you like, the fuck? What? Like, who just writes a rap about the U.S. Constitution for S's and G's, man? Like, and it's just like Jake and I look at each other like, oh, this actually is a good podcast guest for us, because you're sitting here, Matt, telling us the story like it ain't no thing. Do you know how few humans could do that? Like, it's not a big number, man.
We got at least one.
Well, yeah. I appreciate that. Whatever skill I had in writing raps in high school is definitely faded as I hit 40. But
could definitely come back though. But I've seen you play music
I think
before.
I said this to you guys the first time. I'm 85% sure I'm undiagnosed somewhere on that spectrum.
Ready? Hold on. Here's my shocked face. Right?
Yeah. It's a real shocker that the guy who hosts 7 podcasts and runs a podcast network about obsessive tendencies might end up on the spectrum somewhere.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, because this is all such normal shit, right? I mean,
everybody was writing raps.
Yeah, exactly.
This is what
everyone was writing rap songs in high school and building an entire podcast network just because they could. That's everyone's story, right? That's how it goes for everyone out there. Yeah. So does everyone else own 4,000 DVDs because they're afraid that streaming might go away?
Any day now. Well, and it's funny because like I do these on-demand webinars through a company called Confetti. So like they have me come in and they do these like, people will like talk to me like how to support their neurodivergent employees at work. Like, so if you haven't heard me and Jake, first off, how dare you? Second of all, neurodivergent means someone with a different brain, right? So autism, ADHD, giftedness, dyslexia. We talk to people on our show who have different brains and they're trying to navigate the world that is not built for them. That's our whole shtick. But we try to highlight stories of people like you, Matt, who are like, I am a regular person. Or am I? Because we're like, your brain works differently and here are all the coping skills you've developed, right? But so I was talking to one of these companies and I was telling a story about my father-in-law who doesn't understand or appreciate that he's gifted. And I was like, well, Gary, do you know that famous story about Bill Gates when he was at Harvard, when they only gave him 3 hours a week on the computer, but Bill Gates figured out where the code was and just changed the 3 by his name to an X. So he got unlimited time on the computer. And my father-in-law was like, I do not know that story. I was like, hey, Gary, what did you do when you were in college on your computer network? He's like, oh, I found the code and I changed the number by my name to an X. I was like, so you did this thing that Bill Gates, this famously intelligent person, did, right? Yeah. And he was like, interesting. So I'm telling the story. And then a guy on this company's, webinar, he's like, excuse me, are you talking about Gary Hodgson? I'm like, yes, that's my father-in-law. He goes, oh, I wrote the security system for the cloud with him. He's very brilliant. I was like, very good person I now don't know. And then, of course, I told my father-in-law, and he was like, well, I mean, of course he's going to say that. I'm like, why? Like, I tell you, neurodivergent people and compliments are like King Kong on the Chrysler Building, like swatting. No, I won't be good at this.
I feel like I find myself in this weird middle ground where I don't know how to accept a compliment while simultaneously fish for compliments at the exact same time. Like, I'm like, I don't know how to handle someone telling me I'm a good person, but I will also purposely speak negatively about myself so that my girlfriend feels inclined to be like, that's not true at all. Because I do like the endorphin rush of someone telling me that, even though I'm awkward about the response to it. You know what? I don't know if I ever told you this story, but my brother works in mental health. And during COVID specifically, he had been the one that was like, Matt is on the spectrum. And everybody was like, no, Matt's not. So during COVID, when we're all in lockdown, in our group chat, he sends this link and he goes, hey, I have a fun thing that we can do this afternoon to pass some time. This is this online test of 300 questions, and it will tell you how likely it is that you're on the spectrum based on like what your score is. And it was like, you know, if you score a 30%, you're like probably not on the spectrum. If you're a 50%, like maybe, and like anything higher than like a 60%, you're definitely on it. So everyone takes the test, and in the comments, they're like, I got a 23, like, you know, whatever. And then I take the test and I scored an 89. And I remember though, like at that time, kind of going through this, like, what does that mean? And I remember distinctly going on a walk and thinking about it, and like these random memories of elementary school popping up. And like, you know, a mutual friend of ours, Rachel, who was on your show, when she thought that she might be, she became obsessed with like, I need to take every test possible to confirm this information. I've never been interested in taking any of the additional tests for two reasons. One is that I feel like I would knowingly answer in the direction that I would want the results to be. So I know I'm an unreliable test taker. But also it felt like when I really sat down and thought about it, it was like, oh, all of these things that I've blamed myself for that didn't go well throughout elementary school and high school is like not my fault. Like I didn't fail. The school system that couldn't register anybody whose brain wasn't on a very specific plane is what failed me. And the story that kept coming up was when I changed schools. My parents changed elementary schools with me when I was in third grade, and the school made me repeat third grade. And when that happened, at the time, my parents said it was because of my birthday, because my birthday's in October. And they were like, oh, well, the previous school, the cutoff date was September, but this new school, the cutoff date is January, and there's really nothing we can do about it. And I was in my 30s when I found out that the reason was that I had such a hard time making friends at my last school, that this was the suggestion the new school had of like, well, he's the youngest in one grade. So like if he's the oldest in the grade, that might make it easier for him to fit in. And now I'm like, oh, no, it's just because I obsessed about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles when every other kid had moved on to like Power Rangers and other stuff. And because, you know, I wasn't so far in this one direction that it would be detected in 1989 or 1990, they were just like, yeah, he's a little weird. He can't make friends. And like that was the solution to the problem, where it's like now, you know, as a person with children who are currently in the elementary school program, like that would be an immediate red flag of, oh, let's do some additional testing because this student might need to go into the gifted program, or this student might be needed for this, that, and the other thing. And I'm like, oh, like it was kind of this like instead of feeling sad, I was just like, oh, what a relief. Like it wasn't my fault.
That's like the best feeling. And then also like knowing you for, I don't even, how long have I known you for at this point?
I think we're nearing 15, maybe even 20 years. Because I started doing the charity concerts in 2005. So that was 20 years ago. It's been close to 15, I think. Because you guys were right when I came back from California. And that was before, I think we're at like 12 or 13 years is my best estimate. However long ago Kickback Tomorrow was a band, that's how long I've known you.
A while ago.
Yeah.
But like knowing you for so long at this point, 12-ish years, and also being a teacher for gifted, twice exceptional students for so long, like everything that you are and you've done like screams gifted to me, at least.
I'm at this weird crossroads. I've realized it kicked in right as I was about to turn 40, where I am aware that there is nothing that I can do that is a regular desk job that will be at all satisfying to me. But like also doing the freelance thing is becoming more and more difficult. Like it is much easier to live as a freelancer when you're living alone and can just like eat all the ramen that you could ever dream of to like make ends meet, versus when it's like, well, now I have a girlfriend, a probably future fiance and wife, and 3 children that I have to also factor in to decisions. Like it makes it harder. So I hit this point where it's like, all right, well, where can I go where I'm doing creative stuff that satisfies me and I don't feel like I'm selling out? And that's like the eternal battle, right? Of like, where can I go where like my podcasting skills or like my creative thinking skills are actually going to be utilized? And it's like a lot of like, maybe there'll be a podcast class that needs an adjunct professor one day, or maybe like it's thinking in those broad terms, but that's like barely stepping out of the freelance world. You know what I mean? Like you're still firmly in there, but it's like I did the 8 to 10 years at a desk and I did the 15 years working in like retail, and it's like that I can't do it. I literally feel my soul deteriorating and dying when I'm in those jobs.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of things going on there that, like, once again, just are further markers of your neurodivergent brain, right? Because, like, that existential crisis, like, I can't sell out, like, I have to feed my soul in addition to feeding my family, is a very neurodivergent-centered problem. Like, I'm not saying neurotypical people don't struggle with it, but, like, people I talk to are like, oh, I got a promotion, so I can make more money. I'm like, oh, but you have to spend less time with your family. They're like, but I'll make more money. And it's like a very, like,
that's the big debate, right? Like, not to dive too deep into the personal life without, making sure that the other people involved in the personal life are okay with it. But like, I have developed a really good relationship with my girlfriend's kids. And part of that is because I'm always home and I'm always here to be with them. And like, I know when I worked at that last desk job, I would wake up at say 5 a.m. and be on the road at 6 to drive an hour to the office and then be there until 6 or 7 at night and come home at 8. And I'm like, if I was to go back to that, I would only see the kids on the weekends that we have the kids. Like that relationship would go down 100%. That to me is a non-negotiable. Like to me, it's like I'd rather struggle for making every bill payment and know that I'm having a really meaningful relationship with these kids than be the absentee parent who's doing it on behalf of those kids. And I think part of it is because like my dad was that person, and not in like a negative absentee, but he worked crazy hours to make enough money to take us on big vacations and make sure we got everything that we wanted for Christmas. And my relationship with my dad was strained all the way up until basically when he retired and I could see him all the time. I don't want these kids to not have a relationship with me until I'm 60. I like that they have that opportunity now. It is there's so many moving pieces and factors, but yeah, it's interesting. It's all uniquely interesting.
For sure. And like parents in general is such a complicated realm when it comes to like working and not working as well. Like I work at home. Obviously, I'm online all the time and I take care of like the 2 pets that we have. I don't have 3 kids to take care of.
Yeah.
And knowing that like for me growing up, like my dad was working all the time, but he was doing physical labor and then he'd come home really tired and then want to be like, I'm just dead. So we'd see him on like the weekends more so and actually hang out. So like that's hard. And it's also like a level of like our society too, because it's getting like in a sense worse, if you will, where it's like so many people have to work multiple jobs to be able to support their family, even if they have 1 kid or just like a pet. And it's becoming so much more complicated and difficult for people to make that time.
Yeah, there's a lot of those. And like for me, it's funny and it's also probably not the greatest, but like you only have to go about 3 years into any podcast feed that I am a part of, to hear multiple references to how I never want children. I never want to have anything to do with children. That if I'm on a dating app and someone has children, I immediately swipe away. And then I fall madly in love with a person who has not just 3 children, but 3 elementary school to younger age children. Where like, I'm locked in for 15 years on this. But even with that, like, and maybe this is that differently crafted brain. It's like, I think that there are plenty of people who could have gotten into that situation and been like, all right, well, I'm never going to be anything more than an uncle to these kids. And that is like the arm's length that I'm going to keep them at. And instead I was like, no, like if they're going to be here and they're going to grow up with me for 15 years, I'm never going to force them to call me dad. And that was like a point of contention, was that I wouldn't refer to myself as their stepfather. I would just say like, oh, I'm their roommate, or I would say I'm their Uncle Matt. But the reality of that was like, I don't want to force them to call me that. Now, once they started accidentally saying dad when they meant to say Matt to me, then it was like, okay, we're feeling the same relationship. And now I felt more comfortable referring to me as a step parent. But like, I needed them to give me that go ahead. But once I got that go ahead, it was like full steam ahead. There was nothing slowing me down at that point.
I love that. Because you're holding space for them to reach you rather than being like, I'm going to force you or pressure you to make it to where I am.
No. Right. And you know, their kids going through the separation of their parents. Like, I don't need to make that even more complicated by being like, I'm your daddy now. It's like not helping anybody.
Like, really. Petition to remove the word daddy from the vernacular. Like, he's a daddy, and what does he do? Come on! It's not a tumor! That's one of those 4,000 DVDs. It's gotta be. It's gotta be.
Oh, yeah. All of them.
Matt is a true daddy.
Well, that's enough internet for me for today. Good night, everybody.
I believe the term for me is zaddy. This is neither here nor there. I did do a Halloween costume the other day, last year, where I had to put powder in my hair to make it gray. And it was the first time I saw what I'd look like with gray hair. Didn't hate it. I was very pleasantly surprised by that. Oh boy, we've opened up a really weird door with the word daddy on this chat.
Stop it. I can't. I won't. Oh my gosh. I think the whole idea here, like, this is something I deal with a lot as a therapist, is you look back at the person you were and you feel cringy. You're like, oh God. But it's like, isn't that what growth is? Like, 100%. If you were the same dude you were at 16, I'd throw a rock at you. Yeah. Right? We're not supposed to be the same people we were at 16. And I feel like a lot of the more toxic spaces on the internet, especially as it pertains to men, is based on the idea of like, no, it's everyone else that's wrong. You should not change at all. You should keep drinking your face off every Saturday with the boys. And
it's that Simpsons meme. It's right. Like, it must be the children that are wrong. Like,
then this is why it's so important to elevate these stories, because, like, you know, we're normalizing personal growth as a thing that isn't like ticker tape parade or the end of season 2 where Matt comes to some big revelation. It's like the silent, everyday, minute change. But then you wake up one morning, you look yourself in the mirror like, holy shit, I'm a different person. And this is a better version of me than the version of you that was working 12 hours a day in retail. That's a powerful thing, my friend.
The kids watch a bunch of YouTube videos, and a lot of them are about being on the spectrum, and they talk about masking, which was a thing that I don't think I ever did. But this was before I even had like an inkling of a diagnosis. I used to go to this 24-hour diner in town basically every night with my roommate. And this one day, I think it was a Tuesday night or whatever, it was an AA meeting night. A bunch of people came in after their AA meeting. And one of the guys that I went to high school with, who, like, I wouldn't say was like a bully, but like we weren't friendly towards each other. We just like knew of each other. They walked in, and then he walked over to the booth where I was at and sat down next to me and was like, I just really need to tell you that I think it's really cool that you knew who you were in high school, because the rest of us definitely didn't. And like, I always think about that story and I'm really touched by it. But in retrospect, I'm like, I just don't think I knew any way to not be exactly who I was. like the idea of not just being as authentically me as I could be was like so foreign. Like I said, I got held back for ostensibly not being able to give a shit about Power Rangers. Right. I think any other normal kid would be like, oh, everyone's watching this other show, I should also watch this show so I can fit in. And I was just like, fuck that shit, man. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles kick ass. Go all in on that.
Really important question for you. Who's your favorite turtle?
So it was always Donatello.
Let's just say you're the first person I've ever heard say Donatello's their favorite.
Oh, Donatello has always been my favorite.
We're both Donatellos.
Donatellos.
And you're both Matts.
Yeah, it must be a Matt thing. Someone asked me the other day, because I used to always say purple was my favorite color. And I don't know to this day what came first. Like, did I like Donatello because I liked the color purple? Or did I gravitate towards the color purple because I liked Donatello? That's my chicken or the egg that I gravitate towards. I don't know which one it is.
It's like for me growing up, it was Winnie the Pooh and honey. I put honey on everything. I still do, and I never knew which one came first. Did I love Winnie the Pooh or did I love the honey?
Jake, I'll tell you that the biggest discovery of the last 5 years for me is hot honey, and how good that is on everything. Hot honey on a pizza that has a bunch of meat on it is like the most magical pizza combination I've ever experienced.
And get ready for this, we're not in grilling season anymore, but so next summer, take some corn, throw it on the grill, and then instead of putting butter on it, put hot honey on it.
Ooh,
dude, it is a game changer. My mouth is literally watering right now. Right. Well, and it shows you how irrational fandoms are, because I'd be like, Donatello doesn't need a weapon, he has a big stick. But Raphael is too, because he only has forks. It doesn't really hold up to scrutiny, but also Raphael was dumb.
Michelangelo has a stick that's broken in half.
Also, he was a party dude.
It's funny, this morning I was going through my collection of memes, and one of the ones that was on the top today was the growing up, it's like, resist peer pressure. What, like it's hard? Anyway, I'm autistic.
That's literally what it like. Still at this point, I turned 40 a month and some change ago. And I have still never sipped alcohol or tried a single drug in my life. And like a huge chunk of that was my grandfather never did that. And my grandfather was one of my best friends. So it's just like, all right, well, I'm never going to drink because my grandfather doesn't drink. And like by this point in my life, most of my friends who in high school were straight edge have like had a beer. And I'm just like, nope, grandfather wouldn't want me to do it. Like I'm still dead set 30 years later that it's like, no, that if my grandfather didn't, then I didn't. So locked in on that stuff. Although, Punchline and Chris Falios to say at 41 is actually the perfect age to start trying alcohol. So I'll get right to it. But that's like stuff that I think about where it's like you said, like giving into peer pressure. I was just like, no, this is what I've decided. And I'm unwavering in that decision.
And I'll put this out to the live stream fam, because I think I know what you guys want to see. But if we ever get Matt to try alcohol, now I'm a huge craft beer nerd. As a straight white dude with a beard who lives in the suburbs, I like craft beer and I host a podcast. I'm basic AF. But I could take you on a beer journey, Matt. I could tell you all the kinds, and we could drink the non-alcoholic beers, because they don't have to be alcoholic for you to enjoy the complexity and glory that is beer. And I think if we live stream that, I think people would want to watch.
So I'll tell you that during the 6 months that I lived in California, it fell right on Thanksgiving. So I wasn't able to come home for Thanksgiving. It was the only year I didn't spend Thanksgiving with my family. I stayed at my friend Jason's stayed at Jason's apartment, and he did like a little Friendsgiving thing. But part of that Friendsgiving, like 2-night event was that we bottled beer that someone had brewed themselves in their home. And I had a blast, dude. Like I had a blast making it, putting it in the bottles, then just never had it. Like I was like, all right, a good day's work done. Enjoy the fruits of my labor. I'm going to go watch the Muppets now.
I was supposed to speak at a craft beer conference this year, and my flight got canceled, so I couldn't make it. But people were like, but you speak at all these educational and mental health conferences. Why are you going to a craft beer conference? I'm like, first off, because beer is awesome. And second of all, it's like, you don't think there are any nerds in the craft beer community? Like, all these people who have like master's degrees in microbiology are like, and they're all like, I didn't do good in school, but I had to learn about microbiology to be a brewer. So then I learned about microbiology. And I'm like, it's almost like if you give people a reason to learn shit, they learn really good shit to a really high level.
My new version of that is that my girlfriend's kids kicked my ass in chess the other day.
Ooh.
And now every night that they go to bed, I play chess online to try to to learn the game so that I can eventually beat. Like, the most insulting point was after about 3 rounds, the next day, they still wanted to play chess and they were bothering my girlfriend Barb to play chess. And after like 3 games, she's like, all right, guys, I'm a little tired. How about you just play Matt? And they're like, Matt is too easy to play chess against. Like, even the joy of winning had dimmed. They responded as if she had suggested that they play chess with the 3-year-old. Like, yeah. So
we trained the Cocker Spaniel to play chess, and
and it looks like Matt.
I was like, all right, I'm figuring this out. I could kick their ass in checkers, but not chess. So I'm trying to learn that. I've also been, for no reason beyond passing time, I've also been teaching myself poker online, just because I've always said no to when people have a poker night. And I'm like, I bet I'd probably be decent at this if I actually learned how to play it and the hierarchy of the cards and everything. So I've been slowly learning that too.
Hey, Jake, is taking your own personal time to learn really complex things for shits and giggles, is that a thing neurotypical people do, Jake?
Yeah, every single day.
Every single day.
Every single day.
Every single day. And not definitely part of a rigid internal framework of secret rules. So we should we should take Matt off the neurodivergent list, right?
Yeah, Matt is incredibly neurotypical. Like the most neurotypical, like basic brain I think I've ever met.
Jake, you remember when I would throw concerts, how detailed the set list would be that I would send everybody, where it'd be like, at this time you will hit the stage and start setting up. At this time you are to start playing. At this time you are to finish.
I appreciated it.
Listen, I that's how this stream is. If you could see the Word doc that's opened up beside me, keeping me on track of the exact time that we have to wrap this up to go to the commercial break to make sure that we stay within the scheduled times of everybody's stuff. Like, I'm starting to see your guys' point. So that's not how everybody works. Everybody doesn't have a minute by minute breakdown of what they're going to do for something.
And, you talked about like, all like the assessments and the stuff that exists. Like, one of the ones that we give often, it's called the Rialto. And the Rialto is a really good measure to assess for how neurodivergent someone is. And, it's like, they ask all these questions and it's like, true now, true only when I was a kid, true when I was a teen, or never true at all. And there's some of them where it's like, I struggle with putting things away, or I struggle with talking to people. And so many of my clients are like, I don't struggle, for you see, I have a system. And it's like, you realize that's just the answer though, right? Like, if all of my socks are in reverse alphabetical order concurrent with their thread count, then it's not a problem. I'm like, you realize most people just put the socks in the drawer, right? Like, that's just what most people do. And they're like, but my system. And I'm like, oh,
That's also my favorite part though, is like helping and like watching people like break that and be like, oh my God, there's so much potential. Like one of my clients, like, she's super ADHD and was like struggling with laundry being everywhere, and was like, it's just all over my floor. I don't want to put it away. I have to put it in the closet. I have to put it in the dresser. And we talked about it for a little bit. I was like, why do you like, what's the main issue? And she was like, I just can't see it. So eventually I was like, do you have a bookshelf? Can you get like plastic bins that are clear? Can you use that instead so you can see all of your clothes? She started doing that, and now her room's like completely clean. She's like, I never want a dresser again. That's stupid.
So we had a mouse in our home. I can tell you the exact day that it was spotted. It was October 11th. I believe as of last week, we can finally say that we are mouse free.
Yay.
The obsession to the point that I started using ChatGPT for the first time in God knows how long, because I knew that I was driving everybody nuts talking about it, that I was like, all right, I'm going to just talk to this robot about it so I can leave everybody else alone for a little bit. Now, I think if anybody ever has a mouse in their home, I am the expert at telling them what to do to get their house figured out, because I spent months laboring over it. And now the house is, as far as I can tell, mouse free. And I am still obsessively vacuuming every room every time that I finish eating in any said room, like immediately. I have converted our entire home to a plastic bin situation in the pantry so that there's no loose foods available. Like, I lost my mind over a 2-month period. Like,
and it's like you just do the little Siri voice, be like, "You're okay, Matt. Everything's fine. The other people don't see the mice, but you can see them."
It got to the point. I remember one time I was like going back and forth running scenarios with this thing. And then then it got a little too existential. I'm like, how do I know that you're not just telling me what you think I want to hear right now?
Oh,
and
God.
that like spiraled into a whole other conversation. It was rough. It was a not great time to be in this home.
Have you seen any of the new South Park at all?
Oh boy, have I. And that's all I could think of was Randy's relationship with ChatGPT. Barb started calling it my girlfriend. She goes, "Did you consult your girlfriend about the mouse problem?"
Like, just the mouse problem, nothing else though.
That's the only thing I would just be like, all right, here's the scenario. We haven't found droppings in 4 days. On a scale of 1 to 10, how likely is it that the home is now mouse free?
Gee, Dr. Matt, this sounds like somebody who's neurodivergent.
Once again, I just, I mean, you're just not on board at all. I don't get it. Dude,
why does the phrase "telling on yourself" keep coming up right now?
Well, and it's like, if you could distill the neurodivergent experience down to one thing, and that's hard to do, but it's like we do everything to 11. Most people are like, oh, I have a mouse in my house. I bought some traps. I laid them out. And like, that was what I did. Maybe
and then the waiting game begins and you just trust the process.
Right.
Not this guy.
And you get a, anthropomorphic cartoon cat to like set elaborate Rube Goldberg traps for the mouse. Yeah. Whereas like, the three of us are like, okay, we've got the Charlie Day murder board. It's like,
that's 1000% what had become the situation. Like, it would be one of those things where if I was telling somebody the story for the first time, it was like reading a recipe on Google. Like, I'd be like, the date was October 11th.
The wind was from the northeast.
Just scrolling. Like, what do I need for this? Yeah. I don't care about this mouse, Matt.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I think I might be neurodivergent. That's what I'm starting to get here.
Welcome to the club. Do
I get a certificate in the mail? I'll hang it on the wall. Oh, you should give that to guests. Just a certificate, like officially diagnosed on the nerding.
Guys. It's like The Simpsons where Homer goes to the asylum and the guy's like, one of our patients is a cannibal. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised to figure out which one. And Homer has the stamp on his hand that says insane and he can't scrub it off. We'll just be like, here's your neurodivergent sticker. Bonk. And it's like, oh, the beacons are lit. Gondor calls for aid. How else will we know that you're one of us if you don't show us that you're one of us?
Exactly. Right? But we do have our ways of finding each other.
Oh, gosh, right?
I mean, like the infamous story that I feel like we have to share is, again, the mutual friend Rachel, who despised me the first time she met me, like publicly would tell anybody that she met how much she did not like me as a person. And then the second time we met, we became best friends. And then I officiated her wedding. Like, we needed to connect on our mutual adult Disney, like, crazy level.
And RuPaul's Drag Race
and Lego, and well, not Lego so much, but Disney and RuPaul really bridged the gap there. She'll even admit, like, the reason for hating me was so dumb, which was just that I asked a mutual friend of ours who I hadn't seen in a while how she was doing after her breakup. And since she didn't know me, she assumed I was hitting on her friend and was just like, I hate that guy. Like,
Pretty, no red flags there. No red flags at all.
I also do have to ask, Matt, did you come around to Adore Delano being your favorite?
No, that will never happen.
I'm so sad at you for that.
I know you are, and I hate to break your heart, but no. Bianca Del Rio, number 1, Jinx Monsoon, number 2.
I saw Bianca Del Rio at I forget where it was, but it was a live like comedy show that she did. She's phenomenal.
Yeah. She's an insult comic drag queen. She's basically
incredible. Yeah,
she's like Don Rickles. She's just Don Rickles in drag.
I mean, Team Jinx forever. Just throwing that out there. It's really the intensity of relationships in the neurodivergent community. It's like, I hate you or you're my best friend. And it's so odd of me, of all people, teaching people restraint, because like I'm not a restraint person, but I'm like, you've known this person for 4 days. They cannot be your best friend. They may become your best friend someday. And my kids will be like, I don't understand. This is my soulmate. I'm like, you don't know their middle name, right?
Soulmate.
Like,
that's their middle name.
But like, life tells people to put their passion under a bushel, or somehow like, don't be passionate. Screw that. The world needs passionate people. We just want to have passion within reasonable parameters, right? Yeah. If I like Ninja Turtles, I want to talk about Ninja Turtles. I want to get the action figures. I want to read the comic books. I want to do all those things. And also appreciate that some people like Power Rangers. And that's like a big part of my job as I teach social skills to people. It's like, it's not their right and you're wrong. It's, what do these things have in common? How do you use your interest in this one thing to talk to this other person about this other thing? We even demonstrated that before. Like, I don't need you to drink alcoholic beer for you and I to share a beer together. We'll just order those things from, what is it, Athletic or all those non-alcoholic beer companies. So we have that overlap together, because that's really what fundamental social skills are all about. But the world doesn't teach people how to do that. And especially these days, it's like you can find these echo chambers online, right? And it's like, no, Attack of the Clones is the best Star Wars movie. And everyone in there is like, yeah. And it's like, or just hear me out here. Maybe what matters is that you like Star Wars. And then we can have those conversations.
It is very, very fair. Never thought about it through that lens, actually. The internet's full of those people who have those arguments, though. They can't all have this, can they?
Gee, I wonder why neurodivergent people will be drawn to a place where you don't need to interact face to face, and you can get hyper specific Nietzsche about the things you're interested in. One of my clients, and I'm a big fan of the show Gravity Falls. I mean, I think it's almost
amazing show
for media. And I have a client who's in a Discord server about season 2, episode 4 of Gravity Falls. Not Gravity Falls, not season 2 of Gravity Falls, season 2, episode 4. And they've dissected it, they've sliced it, they've diced it. There are people who are like, oh God, you're an EP3 person. And it's like, I just like, where else are people whose brains work that way going to find each other, right? In the before times, you would have gone your whole life thinking you were weird, that the things that were different about you were wrong somehow. And now we can find people who are like us, which is awesome.
Yeah. The most embarrassing thing that I have to admit is that as you were telling that story, I was like, well, now I need to remember what season 2, episode 4 of Gravity Falls is for this hypothetical analogy. It is a good one. It is a good episode of Gravity Falls.
It haunts my dreams, but because of course I've been exposed to it a lot, but sock opera for life is all I'm just all I'm gonna say.
It's a great episode. It's a great episode.
The idea of Bill pouring drinks into his eyes is just top notch. Really, we love that. Gosh, man, like you really did make a great guest in this. And Jake, since we've got less than 5 minutes, should we pivot to our wrap up questions?
Yes, because I'm so curious what he's gonna say.
All right.
Yes, do it.
Okay, I'll start. Matt, what's your favorite word and why?
Honestly, probably the word like. I say it even in my laughter. I laugh the word like if I'm really having a good laugh. So there must be something in my brain that makes me really like the word like.
Phenomenal. This is going to be, I think, almost certainly a much longer answer, and I am here for it. Matt, if you could have one superhero on speed dial, who would it be and why?
Ooh. It's kind of
no Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
No. Understandably, obviously, it would be Donatello in that scenario.
The only correct answer.
Yes. Obviously, I think this is the classic answer for most geeks, but Spider-Man. I just love Spider-Man. I want to talk to, not even because I need helping from Spider-Man. I just feel like Peter Parker and I would have a lot to talk about.
I think for all the answers, and we should track that at some point, Jake, but I think I think Spider-Man is our most common answer because he really is that perfect combination of accessible, nerdy as hell, and also like the burden of responsibility with that like super geeky, like, he's the king of dad jokes, right?
Yeah.
While he's fighting supervillains. I mean, that's the tits as far as I'm concerned. So yeah. Excellent.
And he's just a kid.
Right?
That helps too.
So yes, those are our wrap-up questions. That's what we do. So we're very pleased with that. Yeah.
Love it. Well, thank you so much. Real quick, one last time, plug where people can go if they enjoyed this chat and want to listen to more conversations like this.
Jake, after you.
Dr. Matt, after you instead.
Oy vey. All right. So we are, chronically online, right? That's what we do. So you can find Nerding Out on Neurodiversity on Facebook, on Instagram, and then we're hosted on Spotify. If you want to learn more about it, you can check out the website, neurodiversitycollective.com. Paper Jam Dipper forever. This is better for Paper Jam Dipper. Well, and Matt, you really welcomed us to this community. And so it's an honor to share this with you and be a part of this. And I've already been on napping through happy hour. And I know you and I have something else cooking up for, I think, next week. So, I mean, it's so cool to be a part of this, man. Thank you for welcoming us into the, let's just call it the Avengers, because it really is.
Yeah, of course. Everybody stay tuned. We got about 10 minutes of commercials, and then we will be back with the One Hit Thunder music trivia competition. Thank you so much, both of you. And go check out their podcast and donate at geekscapegives.com.
Nerding Out on Neurodiversity is brought to you by Dr. Matt Zakreski and the team at the Neurodiversity Collective. To learn more about the Neurodiversity Collective or to be a guest on the podcast, please visit our website at www.theneurodversitycollective.com/podcast. Audio and production by Jake Noonan. Show your support by subscribing, leaving a 5-star review, and telling your friends about us. Our Instagram and social media handles are at #NoonPodcast, NOON podcast. Your support is appreciated and keeps us going. All discussions presented on this podcast are strictly for informational purposes, awareness, and understanding. The advice presented is not and should not be considered to be therapeutic in nature. If you have any mental health questions, please contact your provider. All rights reserved.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network.